Chapter 5. Skyrocketing Intelligence. It was called training, but everyone had different specialties. In Ren Fujiwara's case, he practiced both martial arts and magic, knowing a little bit about everything. Everyone could choose their primary direction of study. They could go to special training grounds to practice combat with the knights, or they could go to the library to study magical knowledge. Sunday was the day for mock battles, the day of testing. Larson would serve as the examiner to observe everyone's cultivation progress. If someone's performance was too poor, they would be removed from the list. While it wouldn't lead to death, the treatment would be worlds apart. The whole group understood the stakes and took the training quite seriously. After the meal, Ren Fujiwara carried the Fire Fox toward the library, accompanied mostly by girls. This made certain boys green with envy and hatred. Ren Fujiwara ignored them and walked in silence. The Fire Fox seemed to sense the tension in the atmosphere and lay obediently in his arms, letting him carry it. Another person who surprised Ren Fujiwara was the black youth, Anderson. This man was actually a healing-type mage, which was quite unexpected. On the way, a short-haired girl named Reina struck up a conversation with Ren Fujiwara. She was 18 years old and wearing a Lolita outfit. She was dressed in designer brands, indicating her family background in her previous life was quite wealthy. The law of naming. Brother Ren Fujiwara, does your Firefox have a name? Reina asked with an innocent expression. Ren Fujiwara merely shook his head faintly. In this world, you cannot casually name a monster. Why is that? Reina asked, confused. The girls nearby also looked at him curiously. Ren Fujiwara felt no need to conceal such common knowledge, so he began to explain. You can understand it as a world law. Monsters in this world are divided into two types: normal monsters and named monsters. There is a significant difference in strength between the two. A named monster gains power bestowed by the namer, which is magical essence. Everyone has a limited amount of magical essence, and naming causes an irreversible loss of that energy. If the magical essence in your body is insufficient for the naming process, you are finished. Therefore, naming a monster is a very dangerous thing. Hearing Ren Fujiwara's explanation, the girls nodded in sudden understanding. So that's how it is. Wow, Brother Ren Fujiwara, you know so much, Reina said with a hint of admiration. Ren Fujiwara did not speak. He merely smiled, held the Fire Fox, and continued forward. The Grand Library. A moment later, the group finally arrived at the library. It was unusually massive, covering an area 100 meters wide, and was divided into 5 sections. Each section was separated by an isolation magic array. Countless books were displayed inside, a dazzling collection in immense numbers. Thick dust had accumulated on the covers of some books, indicating they hadn't been opened for a long time. Ren Fujiwara's purpose for coming here was to find a way to increase his own MP. Inside the library, only 2 of the 5 sections were open to them. 2 others contained national secrets, while the final section contained forbidden magic. If I get the chance, I must check out what effects those forbidden magic spells have, Ren Fujiwara thought to himself as he began searching for the books he needed. Shadows in the Royal Palace. Meanwhile, inside the Royal Palace Hall, King Admaris was listening to Larson's report. So this year's summoners include several promising individuals. A smile appeared on Admaris's face. Among them, your subject believes the most formidable is the one named Ren Fujiwara, Larson continued. Although his current strength is not very high, his potential is the best. If the kingdom can allocate resources to him, he will definitely become a great weapon for the kingdom. The king was slightly surprised. This is the first time I've heard you praise someone like this. But as for the safety measures, Larson understood immediately. Rest assured, Your Majesty, the curse on him absolutely cannot be removed. As long as the curse remains, he will have no choice but to obey our orders. Hearing Larson's affirmative reply, a smile appeared on the king's face. Ha, good. Then we shall allocate some of the nation's resources to him. After leaving the hall, Larson's expression turned sinister. His lifespan was nearing its end. The reason he had stayed in the Falmouth Kingdom all these years was to search for a suitable vessel. He possessed a forbidden magic spell that allowed him to transfer his spiritual body into another person to maintain his life. Originally, Larson's target was Shogo Taguchi, but after seeing Ren Fujiwara's combat talent, he changed his mind. He needed a strong body with powerful close combat ability. A vessel that could use magic was practically tailor-made for him. Quantum reading. Back at the library, Ren Fujiwara was rapidly reading magic books. His speed was incredible, closer to 100 lines at a glance. He finished flipping through one magic book in less than 30 seconds, then immediately grabbed the next. The little fire fox was busy running back and forth on the shelves, retrieving and putting away books for him. "Sister Rose, what is brother Ren Fujiwara doing?" Reina asked the blonde, blue-eyed Westerner beside her. Rose didn't know what to say, but Anderson exclaimed in shock, "Could this be the legendary quantum speed reading?" Everyone rolled their eyes. Talking about quantum mechanics in another world was ridiculous. However, Ren Fujiwara was focused entirely on the system prompts appearing in his mind. Ding! Reading a magic book, intelligence +1. Ding! Reading a magic book, intelligence +1. Ding! Learned lesser spirit summoning. Summoning mastery takes effect, granting the skill spirit summoning. Chapter 6. Summoning Albedo. The sun set in the west, and the sunset glow dyed half the sky red. Swish, swish, swish. The sound of Ren Fujiwara rapidly flipping pages still echoed inside the library. Everyone had gotten used to it. As if having entered a state of self-forgetfulness, Ren Fujiwara didn't notice that the sky outside had gradually darkened. Click! At this moment, the library door was pushed open. "Lord Ren Fujiwara, Lord Larson sent me to inform you that he wishes you to come over." The person who arrived was Shino, dressed in a maid uniform. Ren Fujiwara's status was now different. Shino began addressing him as Lord, and dare not call him by his full name anymore. Ren Fujiwara, who had been completely absorbed in reading, was interrupted and felt slightly displeased. The little fire fox, conversely, was quite happy to finally be able to take a break. It had been utterly exhausted this afternoon. Closing the book, Ren Fujiwara, despite his displeasure, followed Shino outside. Shino led Ren Fujiwara toward a building in the center of the castle. That was the heart of the castle, where Larson usually discussed matters with the ministers. At this moment, Larson was already waiting there. Seeing Ren Fujiwara arrive, Larson laughed. "Ren Fujiwara, I had an audience with His Majesty today, and His Majesty is very pleased with you." Larson then took out several items. "These are high-grade magic equipment from the kingdom, all bestowed upon you by His Majesty." Ren Fujiwara immediately grew wary. Something abnormal was definitely suspicious. Why is this Larson being so exceptionally kind to me? Something is wrong. Showing no change in expression, Ren Fujiwara pretended to be overwhelmed by the favor. I truly thank Lord Larson very much." "No need to thank me. If you must thank someone, thank His Majesty. We are merely serving the king," Larson explained with a smile. No. I still must thank Lord Larson for his kind patronage." After a period of feigned civility, Larson left the room. Ren Fujiwara looked at the items on the table and frowned slightly. Bestowed equipment. Fine magic robe. Possesses high magic resistance attribute. Wearing it increases MP by 10%. Fine katana. Possesses sharpness attribute enhancement, increasing physical attack power by 10%. Exquisite magic wand. Possesses magic amplification effect, increasing all attack, support, and other magic effects by 10%. Holy Church Cross necklace. Healing magic effect increased by 20%. Comes with the skill, Holy Blessing. Gear includes weapons and armor. Tiers are common, rare, unique grade, legend grade, and mythic. The gear before him was all unique grade tier, already considered top tier in this world. After inspecting everything and finding nothing amiss, Ren Fujiwara stowed the items away. What exactly is that old fox plotting? He pondered for a moment, but couldn't figure it out for now. Still, he wasn't particularly worried. Thanks to an afternoon of cultivation, his intelligence stat had soared past 10,000. Each point of intelligence equaled 30 MP. In other words, Ren Fujiwara now possessed a staggering 300,000 MP. All of his skills were unlocked. With the 4 new pieces of gear equipped, his MP jumped again to 330,000. An ornate white robe, a pristine cross pendant at the chest, and an exquisite tachi at the waist. In his hand, a slender staff carved with intricate patterns, its tip crowned by a translucent orb. Ren Fujiwara's lips curved, his entire aura shifted. Thought I'd have to buy my time, looks like that's unnecessary. Cradling the little fire fox, he headed for his room. As any gamer knows, without a weapon equipped, most skills are unusable. Previously, without a staff or wand, weaving spell circuits for his ultimates had been nearly impossible. Then, just when he needed it most, someone delivered a perfect pillow, an absolute top-tier one at that. He almost felt bad about killing Larson. The man had been too generous. On the way back, he mentally handed Larson 99 good guy cards, then began planning the perfect kill. The summoning. Night had deepened. Ren Fujiwara tucked the little fire fox in a bed and cast illusion magic over her. The little fox morphed into his likeness, feigning sleep. A blue 6-pointed array blossomed beneath his feet, and his body slowly vanished. On the outskirts of the royal capital, amid a desolate mountain range, a magic circle flared, and Ren Fujiwara reappeared. Rubbing his hands, he chose a clearing and began sketching a summoning array. Let's see who my first summon will be. Everything was ready. Golden light shimmered in his eyes as he closed them and began to chant. A pillar of light shot skyward, flooding the forest. 33,000 MP, drained away, barely a drop in the bucket now. The massive array pulsed black and white. A terrifying pressure swept the mountains. This aura, incredible. When the light faded, a breathtaking figure emerged. A beautiful woman in pure, white formal attire, her gentle smile goddess-like. Glossy black hair cascaded to her waist. Golden vertical pupils gleamed. From her temples curled 2 goat-like horns. At her waist, obsidian angel wings could be seen. A glowing, web-like necklace draped from neck to chest. Silk-gloved hands held an odd short staff. At its 45-centimeter tip, a black sphere floated unsupported. Albedo. Smiling faintly, the girl stood while a magical contract hovered before her. Stepping forward, Ren Fujiwara let a drop of his blood fall upon it. The contract flared into light and streamed into his mind. Ding! Skill designated summoning succeeded. Please configure the summon settings. A glowing interface appeared before him. Albedo's character profile filled the screen. Pages of dense text. The earlier entries were normal. They praised her pure, angelic appearance until the final line is a bitch. After all, her creator, Tabula Smaragdina, adored Gapmo. A cursor blinked on screen beside a virtual keyboard. So I can edit settings like Ainz does? He muttered and tried deleting the words, is a bitch. It worked exactly as expected. That made things simple. Loves. Albedo. Chapter 7. When will we have children? Ren Fujiwara tapped the confirm button. Life returned to Albedo's previously vacant eyes. Seeing Ren, she blinked, and then a faint blush tinted her cheeks. Her gaze turned dreamy, like a little fox in love. Master, Albedo called, her voice dripping with tenderness, setting Ren Fujiwara's blood racing. Ahem. He cleared his throat, breaking the mood. Albedo, do you remember your past? My memories are hazy, but most remain. They spoke back and forth, Albedo answered every question honestly, yet her body kept edging closer, as though longing to nestle in his arms. Albedo, you're too close. Oh, am I? Smiling, she showed no sign of retreating. Instead, she pressed even nearer. Ren Fujiwara gave a wry mental laugh. This setting was overkill. He opened Albedo's character panel. Character profile, Albedo. The gentle, caring, pure white devil. Attribute details. Level LV 100, race LV 30 plus, job LV 70. Job levels: Guardian LV 10, Dark Guardian LV 5, Evil Knight LV 10, Guardian Lord LV 5. World item: Janungagap Hell's Abyss. Divine Armor Hermes Trismegistus triple layered. Mount Bicorn currently unridden due to setting change. Spells: Message, Teleport, Mount Summon, Holy Shield, Wall of Jericho. This Ren Fujiwara guests. A level 100 character sheet, and even her world item had come along. No wonder the cooldown was an entire month. It was outright cheating. His heart refused to calm. Master, what would you like us to do next? Albedo traced a finger along his cheek, her eyes glinting with a strange light. At her expression, Ren's heart lurched. He stepped back to keep his distance. He'd nearly lost control. Just call me Lord Ren Fujiwara. Dropped the master bit. He coughed awkwardly. As you wish, master. Albedo answered sweetly. Never mind. From their talk, he learned that Albedo's memories of the 41 supreme beings were gone. Yet she retained everything about the great tomb of Nazarick. In her mind, Ren Fujiwara had replaced their creators as the supreme being. That setting saved him a lot of trouble. Collecting himself, his gaze turned serious. Albedo, here. I intend to rebuild the great tomb of Nazarick in this world. What say you? Ren Fujiwara asked, utterly serious. By your command, my lord, I shall devote everything to rebuilding the great tomb of Nazarick. Albedo spoke with absolute certainty. A fine resolution. Paying pleased. Then, master, in order to expand Nazarick's manpower, can we now give birth to a few more descendants? This sudden change in tone left Ren Fujiwara speechless. That it is not yet time. Besides, manpower is not an issue. I will gradually summon Demiurge, Shalltear, and the others here. Shalltear. Albedo's expression soured. Master, forget about Shalltear. I can handle her duties in her stead. Albedo didn't care about the others, but she absolutely did not want Shalltear coming here to compete for favor. She had finally secured a rare chance to be alone with her master, and she could not let that girl's appearance ruin it. Ahem, this is still early. We will discuss it another day. Right now, the most important thing is to rebuild Nazarick. Depart immediately and find a suitable location. By your command. Also, remember to keep a low profile. Do your best not to reveal your identity unless it's an absolute emergency. Yes. With those words, Albedo spread her pitch-black wings and flew off toward the Jura Great Forest. Ren Fujiwara watched the girl's receding figure and began to ponder the matter of Albedo's strength. He had seen the anime for both the Demon Lord world and Ainz Ooal Gown. To be honest, the combat power systems of the two worlds were completely different. He estimated that Ainz Ooal Gown's super-tier magic fallen down was likely on the same level as Hinata's spirit particle collapse. Based on currently known information, a level 100 player equipped with their gear would be equivalent to an S-rank existence in this world, which is the strength of an awakened demon lord. As for whether one could break through after level 100, Ren Fujiwara didn't know. But things would work themselves out. There would always be a way. Having cleared his thoughts, he prepared to continue summoning. The Summon All Things skill within his unique skill summoner had evolved its original random character effect into a new skill. Because he had acquired a large number of summoning spells while reading the magic books today, such as spirit summoning, demon summoning, and undead summoning these spells had been automatically integrated into designated creature summoning. In other words, the random effect of summon all things only applied to items and equipment. The magic staff in Ren Fujiwara's hand began to glow, and a red magic circle appeared before him. He planned to experiment with the effects of these skills. Summon all things, undead. With a flash of light from the magic circle, a level 5 skeleton monster appeared. So weak. Ren Fujiwara then experimented with summoning other creatures. To summarize in one word, weak. None of the summoned creatures exceeded 10 levels above his own. Is it because my own level is too low? He continued his experiments. Clang crash. Iron blocks, rusty iron swords, copper blocks, worn-out leather. A large pile of very common scrap materials were summoned. Half an hour later, he gave up. This won't do. I'm only level 3. It's too low. I must find a way to level up. Having made his decision, Ren Fujiwara used space magic to return to his room. He planned to deal with Larson immediately and then look for a place to level up. Chapter 8. The plan begins. Returning to the room, he found a little fox still maintaining its illusion magic. Ren Fujiwara dispelled the magic, picked up the sleeping fox, and cast space magic once more. Arriving at the highest roof of the palace, Ren Fujiwara began to implement his plan. First was a frantic round of summon all things. A large number of low-level monsters, low-level undead, undead soldiers, zombies, and more poured out of the magic circle at once. Furthermore, Ren Fujiwara applied a continuous summoning effect to the circle and auxiliary summoning spell he had learned from the magic books. Just as the roof was about to overflow with monsters, Ren Fujiwara used the auxiliary abilities of Savior to start casting group buffs on them. HP limit increase, attack fortification, defense fortification, haste, magic resistance, slow HP recovery, constitution boost, strength bonus. After bestowing a pile of support magic upon them, Ren Fujiwara continued casting. Space magic, short distance large-scale teleportation array. A white 9-pointed star flashed, and all these mobs were teleported outside the palace below. At this moment, Ren Fujiwara concealed his presence perfectly. He had applied illusion magic to the rooftop, so ordinary people couldn't discover him at all. When a large number of mobs appeared around the palace and began wreaking havoc everywhere, they were quickly discovered by the patrolling soldiers. The patrol team spotted these small monsters and immediately ordered their subordinates to eliminate them all. However, the soldiers soon found that while these mobs looked weak, their combat power was exceptionally fierce, and their numbers were increasing. Quick, go report to the king. Soon, a guard sprinted away and arrived at the door of the king's chamber. Report, Your Majesty. A large number of monsters and undead creatures have suddenly appeared outside the palace. Their combat power is extremely formidable. Our soldiers are on the verge of being unable to hold them back. The king sat bolt upright from his deep slumber. He was in his pajamas, his hair disheveled, with a panicked expression and a face full of terror. The numbers? How many are there? They are countless. Bastard, how could these monsters possibly appear here? This is the inner city. This, your subordinate does not know. Are you useless? You know nothing. Go gather the guards immediately. Also, have Lord Larson lead the knights to eliminate the monsters. The king roared, and the soldier hurriedly ran to notify the others. On the roof, Ren Fujiwara silently watched the chaotic scene below. All sorts of battle cries pierced the sky, and various curses rose and fell in succession. These mobs were weak, but their numbers were overwhelming. Within the range of their rampage, many palaces were destroyed, and countless guards, escorts, nobles, and ministers fell in pools of blood. Wails filled the air, and casualties were heavy. Seeing this scene before his eyes, Ren Fujiwara felt no ripples in his heart. Not a single one of this country's power holders was a good person. He ordered the monsters to kill everyone they saw, except for some servants. However, at this hour, most of the maids had gone to their dormitories to rest. Unless they were truly unlucky, Ren Fujiwara could only say he was sorry. Seeing that the number of monsters below had reached a certain level, continuing to summon was pointless. So, Ren Fujiwara activated space magic and returned to his room. Just as he returned, he saw Shino rushing through the door. "Lord Ren Fujiwara, this is bad. A large number of monsters have appeared outside. Please escape quickly," Shino shouted anxiously. Slightly surprised, Ren Fujiwara couldn't help but ask back, "Aren't you going to escape?" Shino gave a bitter smile. "I'm just a lowly slave with a slave's brand. Even if I leave this place, I won't meet a good end." "What I mean is, why did you run here to notify me instead of hiding?" Ren Fujiwara's words made Shino freeze, and then her pretty face turned slightly red. Seeing her hesitating to speak, Ren Fujiwara understood. Thud! With a hand chop, he directly knocked Shino unconscious and tossed her onto the bed. "Sigh, this damn, irresistible charm of mine." After a flamboyant sigh, Ren Fujiwara walked out of the room and locked the door. He didn't want to take a defenseless woman out to risk her life. To put it bluntly, she was a burden. If the current Ren Fujiwara possessed the power to rule the world, he wouldn't mind giving Shino a hand. But now, he was still very weak and noob who hadn't even left the starting village. This kind of hero saving the beauty drama wasn't suitable for now, so it was better to let her sleep. It wouldn't be too late to help her if there was a chance later. Larson emerged from his room with a dark expression. He then sent guards to gather his subordinates from the other world. At that moment, "Lord Larson, are you all right?" The newcomer was none other than Ren Fujiwara. At this moment, he definitely deserved an Oscar for Best Actor. Ren Fujiwara arrived at Larson's side with a face full of anxiety. "Lord Larson, a large number of monsters have appeared outside. At a time like this, only you can take action." Larson frowned and asked, "How did these monsters get into our palace?" "I'm not entirely sure of the details. Could there be a spy inside the palace? Could this actually be a conspiracy by an enemy nation?" "Why do you say that?" "Think about it. To be able to bring monsters in so silently, there must be someone on the inside. It's not that simple for outsiders to enter this place." Ren Fujiwara spoke with such conviction that Larson felt it made quite a lot of sense. "Then, who do you think is the most suspicious?" "You must be joking, my lord. How could I possibly know who it is?" "However," Ren Fujiwara feigned hesitation for a moment, then whispered into Larson's ear. "Today, I noticed that Inoue, Matsushita, and Tamura were acting very suspiciously. These three were the ones who had been mocking Ren Fujiwara earlier that day. There were people who had been summoned 3 years ago. Ren Fujiwara directly dragged these three in to take the blame. Do you think, could it be that they are dissatisfied with the curse on them, so they secretly colluded with the Empire, wanting to kill the controller of the curse?" Ren Fujiwara only said half of it, then quietly observed Larson's expression. He saw that his face was dark, and his eyes seemed to contain jumping flames. "Damn it, they actually dare to against me." Halfway through his sentence, Larson hurriedly stopped himself. "Ahem, your guess is not without reason. Do you know where they are now?" "How about this, my lord? You go and kill the monsters first, and I will help you bring those three here for a face-to-face interrogation." Larson thought about it, and felt that this plan was excellent. With the battle being urgent, Larson didn't think twice and prepared to deal with those ant-like monsters first. Watching him leave, the corners of Ren Fujiwara's mouth curled up slightly. It was just a guess before, but it seems Larson is indeed the controller of the curse. Things have become simple. Immediately after, Ren Fujiwara walked in the direction of the three scapegoats.